Hello everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru. I've got a very, very interesting woman today, and most of you people, you either need her now or you're going to need her sometime in the future. So the best thing to do is when you're ready, reach out, have a chat to her, have a virtual cup of coffee. Like me, she can talk underwater. However, she's got a ton of knowledge and she can help you. And I'm going to tell you how she can help you. First let me introduce this lady. Her name is, I've got a bleary-eyed here, guys. Her name is Angela, sounds very English, doesn't it? Angela Parkinson, right? And Business Exit Strategist. Company name, Legal Exit Partners. MA, Exit Strategy Advisor for private held business owners for 7 years. An Employee Ownership Trust, EOT, is a structure where the company is owned by a trust set up for the benefit of the employees. In an EOT, I think that's right, employees do not gain their own individual shares. Instead, the trust becomes the legal owner of the company and operates a long-term benefit for all employees. I've spoken to over 2,500 members in acquisition, right, and over 400 sellers, that's a lot, and brokers, and realise why 80%, hear that figure, guys, 80% of businesses never sell. So the whole idea is this lady helps you to sell and get exit ready, guys. Be ready before you're ready. Get yourself ready. Get your systems in place. It's all about systems, right? Achievements. 3 deals closed on the acquisition side, assisting business owners buy another business into a $2 million plus range and assisting and closing a $20 million plus business going into an ESOP. I'm currently in the early stages of writing a book around employee ownership. Title not yet decided. ChatGPT can help you solve that problem, Angela, in one day. Tagline or motto: create your exit strategy before you fund the process. So there it is, guys. That's common sense, guys, which is not common, right? A bit about this lady. I started a photography and print business from scratch when I was 21 years old and lived in the back of a car in freezing conditions for 3 weeks. That it broke down, wow, a quarter of a mile from work, and I had no money and no blankets. Wow, I wanted to keep the job. I loved in the city. My mother begged me to come home and use the £5 for a coach, which is 40 miles away. I knew I'd be comfortable again and probably go nowhere in life if I stayed in the local village. So I chose to stay and use the money for food in my first week of employment. So there it is. We've all got a journey, guys, and we want to hear yours. As I come on and talk to a friend, let's hear every man and woman's got a story. Let's hear your story. It's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Angela. How are you, Angela?
Yeah, good, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me.
No, you're most welcome. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you all those years ago to head down this current career path. What happened?
Well, do you want to go back as far as my photography, or do you want me to start with
Tell with the journey. We've all got a journey. Just tell us the journey that brings you up to date where you are now.
Well, I think if I go back as far as being 8 years old, when my mum told me that I wouldn't be able to be a photographer or do print because that was only for wealthy people, and I came from a poor background. And I mean really poor. She used to cut the toe ends of my shoes out so that my toes could reach the concrete because we had no money. But those days are gone. And every year when I used to tell my mum I'm going to be a photographer when I grow up, and I started this conversation when I was 8 years old, she said, "How are you going to do that? We don't have any money." And she used to laugh at it all the time. So I used to say, "But why? Why can't I have it? Because we don't have any money." "But why can't I be a photographer?" "Because I just told you we don't have any money." "But why? You know what children are like. Why for everything. You don't understand that you can't have something." That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. And that's when I started to build a business from scratch from the age of 20, 21. And the reason I stayed in the car is because I had a vision for the future, and I could actually see myself as a photographer and printer. I could see my own lab. I could see the direction of where I wanted to go. It was almost as if I was already living it whilst I was sleeping in the car. And a bank took a chance on me, loaned me the money for the equipment, and that's how I got going.
Nice.
After 25 to 28 years of doing that constantly, I had usual thing, got married, had 2 children, kept on running my business at the same time. Technology came along and changed everything. A little bit like, what AI is doing to us right now.
Yes.
But it was because of that experience as a business owner and seeing the things that can go wrong and how you like and change. Got involved in the markets for many years, lost a lot of money, and then decided it was time for me to start helping business owners. And that's when I got involved in the acquisition space. I've been there, started about 7 years ago. But I wasn't happy continuing on the track of helping people understand the process of, buying $1 million businesses, when I suddenly realized why 80% of businesses don't sell. And I'd had all these conversations, 400 conversations with brokers and sellers. And out of those 400, I was only able to make offers on 3 deals out of 400.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, they just didn't have any systems. They're family businesses and they're just not transferable.
Yeah, all the stuff's in their head, right? Half the time it's in their head.
Exactly. They built it with bad habits. They've become the go-to person from the day that they started it.
Yeah.
And a lot of business owners don't believe that anyone can do the job any better than they can, and so they always end up picking up the pieces where they think everybody falls short of their role, and which is a shame, really. So.
Guilty as charged 5 times, right? Angela, what's been the most challenging aspect of your work and how are you overcoming that now?
I think the biggest challenge with for the employee ownership side and what I'm doing right now is that these business owners, they think they're going to live forever, Jeff. And so getting them to just have a conversation and talking about an exit plan is very, very difficult. And I sometimes just have to recite a story from a client of mine who went to close on 2 deals and 6 months apart, and both owners died at closing. So you're not taking this business with you. You're gonna die at some point. Why die into the very day of closing your business when you could have been enjoying your time with your family?
Funny enough, it just recently came to my mind and my attention as things do as we get older about the number of people that retire so effing late. I'm not saying to totally retire, guys. Do something you enjoy, right? However, if you leave it too late, well, how are you going to do that trip to Europe or that boat cruise or whatever you've dreamt about doing all your life? But you're too old to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Well, a lot of owners, a lot of owners feel guilty that they've had all these employees for so long, and they feel like if they close the business or sell the business, then they're letting their people down.
No, not at all. You're letting them down by staying too long. That's the whole purpose. Tell us an important moment in your career. Where did you pivot, Angela? Where was that aha moment where you pivoted?
Well, I was helping people on the buy side, on the acquisition side of buying a business. But what happened was through learning the process of how all of that works, when I realized that the switch for me came when I just saw too many sellers that were losing so much money in fees.
Yes.
They were spending money on, okay, I need to sell this business, and then they go straight to a broker or want to go to private equity, and they weren't looking. As far as they were concerned, there were the only 2 options out there. Yes. And there's 13 different ways in which you can sell a business. But the one that made me pivot to the sell side was realizing that if let's just say, for example, AI takes 50% of the all these people working, and they've got no jobs to go to anymore. What happens with the 80% what happens with the rest of the businesses that do survive, where 80% don't sell?
Yes.
That means there's barely going to be anyone with a job. And these like electricians, plumbers, roofers. We know that AI is coming, but we can't see them taking those kinds of jobs anytime soon. So those are the ones that are going to be left, over and above the ones where you're sitting behind a desk doing paperwork.
I got a theory on that. I tell people this one about society. You when you're young, your parents say, you've got to go to school, you've got to go to school, you've got to get a bit of paper, you've got to go to university. That's not the way I went, but anyway. And you go to university and you come out when you're 23 with an engineering degree and you throw your hat up in the air, oh, I qualified. And there's 400 of you, right? Listen carefully to this. There's 400 of you. Then you grab the local paper and there are 10 jobs. So 390 of you end up at McDonald's or Wendy's or something, flipping burgers. You meet the waitress, you buy a house, you buy a car, you get in debt, and you work 30 or 40 years and you die when you're 65. That's how the system is designed, guys. Don't be part of that system, right?
Actually, Jeff, that brings me to another story, what you just said there. When I was working with acquisitions.com, I met a guy who he wanted to buy the program and learn the process of buying a business. And then he said, when I gave him the price, he said he couldn't afford it. And I asked him what he was doing now. He says, well, at the moment, I'm paying down $250,000 of a $300,000 debt that I started. I wanted to be a lawyer. And so that's for my education. So I said, so are you a lawyer now? And he said, no. He says, what I'm doing is I'm a manager at running a coffee shop like a Starbucks. Yeah. And then I drive Uber on a night time to make up as much money as I can to pay down this $250,000 debt. Well, those days have gone. You can't think that way anymore. And I just found that really sad because he's now kind of tied and trapped to this debt. Yes. And instead, if you go out and buy a business that's already functioning, whether it's in engineering or whatever, plumbing or roofing, whatever it is, a business that you can actually buy that is going to give you a return. And in the healthcare side, you've got assisted living. The majority of us are getting ready for that side of. There's more baby boomers in the world than there are, the younger. So I think assisted living is a great business to be involved in as well.
Absolutely. Anything in that deal. Funny enough, I've been considering. I do importing from China. I've been considering bringing in all these medical products like wheelchairs, walkers, etc., and setting up a hire company because my idea is that the kids will hire the wheelchair for their elderly dad and they'll think it's only going to be for a couple of weeks and it could end up being for 10 years. And I'm getting rent on a $500 wheelchair for 10 years. All of that. It's all there, guys. It's a matter of don't think.
There's loads of businesses out there. Yeah, loads of businesses. Yeah, we need that next generation to take them over. That's why I went over onto the employee ownership side, Jeff, because it doesn't make sense to walk through the door one day, close the door, say, right, let all of the employees go. I'm too tired. I can't carry on anymore. When those employees could take over those businesses.
Absolutely.
It's about letting the next generation run with those businesses. And they could easily do that by going into an employee ownership trust. And they could come out over 3 to 5 years, get paid by the trust over that time period.
Nice.
And then you're recycling the same. You've got the same employees building and running the business, and when they're ready to leave, they leave. The new next generation comes in. The money's still tied into this employee ownership trust. So you're constantly recycling the same, business, but with fresh blood.
Nice.
Instead of it going to, private equity where it can be assets stripped, jobs cut, eventual bankruptcy in many cases. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
So,
tell us, Angela, in your opinion, what are the key qualities or skills that have contributed to your amazing success?
I think history, Jeff. All the challenges and the crap that you go through when you're building a business from scratch, and you're always wondering where the cash flow is going to come from for the next job. So you have to be when you build something from scratch, you have to be creative for every single step in order to make a success of it. And when you've gone through all of that, I think this is the learning process, and that's how you're enabled to help other people in business.
Another thing is you're old school. You've got two things. You've got empathy and you've got the big one is integrity. Guys, without integrity, you've got nothing. And Angela's got that, both those in spades. Tell me, in your opinion, how do you stay motivated as you do and continue to innovate and find new things in your field? What's your secret there?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do in life, Jeff. You know, if you love doing something, you're always going to find new ways. You're always going to learn new things to help people advance along the way. And in the same time that you're learning and passing on, you know, your skill set to the next generation, and you're always looking for new ideas. It's not something that ever stops. You're always looking for a way, an angle of, you know, maybe I should have done it this way, maybe I should have done it that way. Oh, I did this wrong. How could I have done that better? You're constantly questioning yourself on how you can help people more. It just makes you dig deeper, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Andrew, if you can, tell us about a recent, of your many, recent project or achievement that you're particularly proud of. What's something that comes to mind?
Well, I'm very happy about the deal that got closed on the ESOP because the owner, he wanted a certain price. I'm not going to go into any details on it because just in case it reveals him. He wanted a certain price for it. I couldn't get it to reach that price. Tried to find a couple of buyers for him. Those buyers came up with the same result as I did when we looked at the financials for the value. And he ended up getting more than double when he went into an ESOP because he found a way to structure it in a way that he could get more money from that. So
that's a pretty nice achievement. Looking ahead, you're only at base camp now. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? What are you going to be up to?
I'm going to continue with the employee ownership for a few years. We don't know what AI holds for everybody, but I'd like to stay in this space for some time, Jeff, because at the end of the day, if we can turn most of these businesses that are out there into employee-owned businesses, that's going to help communities. It's going to keep the families together, less divorce, just for families to stick together and be happy. So I don't know whether yeah, absolutely.
So what's the best way for people who have enjoyed this podcast, and that should be everybody, what's the best way for our listeners and people watching, what's the best way to reach out and find out more about your amazing services and have a chat to you? What's the best way to do that, Angela?
Well, they could email me on angela@legacyexitpartners.com if they're thinking about selling a business or want to discuss, you know, what employee ownership is about and how it works. Then I think that's the best way to reach me because my phone goes all day and I have to turn it off so that I can get some work done.
Fair enough.
So that's the best way.
Yeah, the other thing too, guys, LinkedIn's another avenue. Look up Angela's name on LinkedIn, you'll see it there. And the other thing, guys, we're going to put all of Angela's social media links, we're going to put her across Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, our Facebook group, YouTube, and of course our new school platform. So all her details will be there for you guys. Reach out. She's a lovely lady. I spoke to her for 30 minutes before we even come on the show. She's a lovely lady. She's very entertaining. And reach out, have a chat to her. She won't bite, I promise you. She's a terrier, but she won't bite. And find out what she can do to possibly help you in your business. And two last questions for you, Angela. One before we wrap it up. Is this for United States only, or can you help people worldwide? Is it a United States thing or worldwide?
Well, for me, it's mainly the United States. I am focused on the States. This actually did start in the UK in 1929. But Australia and the UK are very similar on how they run employee ownership, but it's a little bit different.
At least you can put them on the right track. You can have a preliminary chat, you can put them on the right track. And if you can't do it, you probably know someone who can.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a way to get a deal closed without having to be one of the 80% that don't sell.
That's right. Before we wrap it up, you've got to tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know. What is that fun fact, Angela?
Oh, do you know what, Jeff? This might show my mean side. I'm not mean anymore, but when I was a kid, I didn't get on very well with my younger brother, and what happened was my dad sent me sent me outside to go and get ice creams for the 5 of us. And I went to the van and I was struggling to hold these 5 cones. And on my way back, one of them fell into the concrete where all the little stones sat. And so I bent down to struggle with the 4 and then pick up this ice cream. As I came into the house, I started to swivel my hands to start handing out the ice creams. And when I got 3 left, I handed one to my brother with the stones in it. And I said, I dropped yours, Robert.
Fair enough. Yeah. Interesting. Guys, we'd love you to come on 15 Minutes of Fame. As you can see, it's like talking to a friend. And I want you to think about this, guys, in all seriousness. A TV commercial is going to set you back $20,000 in no change, right? And what's going to happen? The commercial comes on. People are hungry or thirsty. They jump up, go and grab a beer from the fridge, make a hot dog, or go to the toilet. They miss your whole darn commercial anyway, right? If you have 10 radio spots, they promise you they'll play them, and they do. But they play them at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when people are asleep, right? So come on, 15 Minutes of Fame, guys. It's all about you. We'll put you across all the social media platforms. Remember, it's an evergreen movie about you. You can put it on your emails. You can put it on your website. You can go on LinkedIn and say, I was interviewed by the guru, etc. And potentially putting you in front of hundreds of prospects. And the key point to remember, guys, very important, most people don't remember, it's evergreen. It's as good in 6 months' time as it is today. So keep using it over and over again as a valuable asset. So once again, thanks for being on the show, Angela. Any last words for our audience?
Just if you're ready for selling a business, just get in touch, Angela at legacyexitpartners.com, and we'll have a chat. My first call is complimentary anyway. It's not going to cost you a dime to find out what's going to be the next best direction for you.
No, guys, there's the offer. Reach out to this lady. Like I said, it's a virtual cup of coffee, costs you nothing. And you get a wealth of information. You get all this lady's experience, all for nothing over the phone. There you go. Thanks, Angela, for being on the show, and thanks, everybody, for watching.